What's up, guys? This is Boondocks, and today's another episode of Can They Support, in which we're going to be looking at Loki. Now, to be fair, this is technically Loki Prime, but that's only because I sold my Loki. I had Loki Prime, and I didn't feel like buying an additional Warframe slot, and maybe I'll build him again one day, but until then, who knows? So, can Loki support? Yes. And in addition to that, thanks to his kit having some very unique things in it, he's one of the best supports. And he does that through a couple of different methods. So first, let's start by spawning a level 55 Corrupted Heavy Gunner. Okay? So one of the reasons he's really powerful at the start is if you imagine that we are with a team that is getting attacked by this Heavy Gunner, I could put down a decoy. I said, come over here, you little bastard. I could put down a decoy. Now the enemy will get attracted to the decoy instead of your teammates, and therefore will... yeah, well, it's just going to not be hurting your team. Instead, it's going to attack the stupid decoy. And in fact, during the Law of Retribution mission, a lot of groups always have a Loki, not just for running with the bomb, but in addition to having decoys constantly put up to distract the end boss. So in addition to that, Loki has a few other abilities that make him really, really good. So for starters, he has the Switch Teleport ability. Now, Switch Teleport can do some rather interesting things, including troll the shit out of your friends and teammates by instantaneously swapping locations with them. But sometimes you can have the Safeguard switch on, and this will make it so that any teammates that you swap places with will become invulnerable for 6 seconds when this is maxed, and that's also affected by your power duration mods. So if you wanted to go for a weird build where your max duration, similar to what I am now, obviously I could boost up my narrow-minded a little bit more, but that would make it a little harder for me to do switch teleports at longer range. But by having an increased duration, if I were to swap with a teammate right now, they'd have over 12 seconds of invulnerability. So you could technically have a Loki constantly swapping with teammates to make them not take any damage. And if you're standing right next to him when you swap places with Switch Teleport, it's not going to negatively affect them all that much. They might get turned to the sides a little bit, maybe turned around, but they're not going to get teleported all the way across the entire battlefield. Now, this Safeguard switch can't affect Loki himself. With that being said, if you had two Lokis and you just kept swapping locations, well, next thing you know, you can literally stay invulnerable for the entire mission. It would just be a little tedious. Finally, the main reason why he's considered one of the best supports, especially in some late game areas, is because of his other Syndicate mod called Radiating Disarm. Well, Disarm itself is already pretty broken. By increasing your power range, and in all honesty, not needing any real duration, you can focus purely on range and efficiency. I put some duration on my build so that way I can stay invisible for a little bit longer. But if I wanted to, because this is your fourth ability, and you want to lower the cost, feel free to increase your efficiency at the expense of your duration. But basically, Radial Disarm is going to cause all enemies to drop whatever weapons they're carrying, unless it's a butcher that's just carrying a knife, and bust out like their little beatdown sticks and start running at each other, hitting you with a wet noodle. Now, the irradiating part will also turn all those enemies into enemies of each other, and they'll actually start attacking each other. And this is great because if they're attacking each other, they're not hurting you or your team, and even if they were, they would have the wet noodles. So because of that, this becomes an amazing late game ability just for preventing your team from taking damage. Of course, Radial Disarm is not going to be as good against Infested because they have no weapons to drop. They're just going to run up and bite you, scratch you, and that's no fun for anybody. But real quick, just because I think it's always funny to see, let's spawn instead of one of these guys. Let's select all. Yeah, we can just leave it at 55 for now. So then all you have to do is run out here and Irradiating Disarm. And now watch. Yeah, fight each other. Fight for my amusement. And as you can see, thanks to my range, I even managed to hit enemies way, way off to the side. And they're just going to continually run around with these wet noodles, trying to beat each other in the head up until the radiation proc runs out. But then all you need to do is cast it again. and they're more interested in fighting each other than they are in fighting me. And because of that, it makes the entire fight that much easier. Now, like I said, you could always lower the duration a little bit and increase your efficiency. That will affect the amount of time that they're irradiated, but you'd be able to cast it more often. So, it's like give and take, right? It depends on how quickly you're going to kill the enemies and how quickly you're going to move through a level. So, really make the call for yourself. But between being able to distract enemies with decoy, make your team invulnerable with safeguard switch teleport, or make all the enemies drop their weapons and sometimes even start fighting each other, Loki is an amazing support frame, as well as being able to go stealth and move fast as shit. So you should definitely try to get Loki. He used to be one of the starting frames that they eventually made a frame that you had to get later in the game, purely because of how powerful he is. And if you can manage to get the Loki Prime, his helmet just looks that much cooler in my opinion, so definitely try to pick it up. And anyways, guys, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.